The screen fades from black. It says Yamandi, 2 weeks earlier. A well-furnished study lit by flickering oil light. One lamp on a desk where an elf woman, dressed in a nightgown, sits properly upright, leaning over a piece of paper. The second lamp is held by an elderly-looking human woman, also in their own nightgown, standing next to her, obviously wanting to say something, but waiting for her to finish. She pens the last words on the paper and pauses to assess it. "Are you sure this is a good idea?" the old woman says in her raspy voice. "This could spark much resistance." "It's done," the woman says as she signs her name proudly at the bottom of the letter. Lady Yamandi Aldori. "It's cleared with the mayor. We have let the stolen lands rest untamed for too long. The threat this offer may elicit is quite manageable compared to what we're currently facing with all the monsters, bandits, and barbarians." She folds up the letter and slides it into an envelope. She looks at it for a few seconds more and then lets it lie on her desk and stands up. "I want this spread far and wide in the morning. This should be in every notice board in every city, town, village, and hamlet in Brevoy, and as much as can be made outside of it. If there is no notice board, nail it to the side of the biggest building. I want as many groups as possible to maximize our chances." She walks off and the screen fades to black. Unfortunately, the audio from the Discord call didn't come in properly into OBS, so I will be narrating and summarizing what the other players said until it comes back on. The title reads, Luther, 9 days earlier. It only took 3 days for the caravan to reach from the town of its departure to where they are now, but it felt like a short forever for Luther. Now, the only thing that could possibly make anything feel better is to sit down with a nice hot stew and maybe a mug of ale. Inside the only inn this small settlement had to offer, Luther sits with a bowl of what barely qualifies as sustenance, trying to drown out the headache the caravan leader gave him by complaining the entire time, even when he was trying to sleep. When we see Luther in the tavern, what do we see? Luther is a very big person, well-built, wearing well-made armor that covers every inch of his body, including a mask that covers his face. You can see the character art and token art later. While trying to drown out all other voices and just keep his own personal space, he can't help but overhear the discussion, just one table over, about some Swordlord looking for people to start a new kingdom. That sounds preposterous, right? Luther started by showing some interest in the subject. You're not gonna go and try for it, would you? Then he actually showed some excitement to do something right and help people. Well, as we say, it's your funeral, and he actually raises a mug of ale to clink against yours. Then he set out on the road to adventure. Screen fades to black. It says, Kelden, 6 days earlier. Kelden walks into the settlement of... Give me a name. It's Blackstone. You can see I changed my notes. When Kelden walks into the settlement of Blackstone, a small village bordering the stolen lands, what do we see? Kelden is a tall, half-elf ranger, wearing traveling clothes and a cowl of browns and greens. He carries a visible bow, and beside him is a tiny black bear. Hey, hunter guy! He hears a familiar voice from the door of the town's only inn. It's Wesley, the owner's son. You know him, and he knows you, but he had a brain fart one time and forgot your name, and since then he made it a mission to invent new nickname for you every time you come over. There's a notice on the board you might want to check out, he shouts again and points over to the simple piece of wood held up by 2 short wood columns and covered in various notes, orders, and warnings. You're used to seeing goods for sale, warnings of wandering animals, notices of taxes, but the newest item on the board is obvious on top of everything else. The words are simple and to the point. The signature at the bottom is almost instantly recognizable. Lady Yamandi Aldori. Though you've never been in her presence, everyone around knows this proactive swordlord from Ressal, the strongest police this side of the stolen lands. I'm not going to detail the whole message, but it's basically a call to heroes. Any adventurer worth their salt, anyone willing to take a chance, anyone wanting to start anew, actually an offer for a charter to create a new kingdom, if you're strong enough. After reading the message and deciding that he's better off trying to eliminate the threat entirely instead of hunting one monster at a time, Kelden is on his way. Good luck, he says, and the camera pans to a young kid about 12 or 13, just snuggling the bear to death, knowing it's perfectly okay by the bear, and eventually... Actually, the bear starts dragging him along as he follows you out of town, and Wesley eventually lets go. And we fade to black. Fish. Earlier that day. Look, you're moving into a red ocean here. Fish is talking to another traveler from the caravan that arrived in Restov last night. Fish is a half-elven with white hair, not wearing anything distinct, no armor per se, but something bad definitely happened to the left side of his face. Yeah, I'm guessing you're talking to some kind of importer-exporter with a hands in a lot of things. If you want to start an apothecary here, a pharmacy, whatever you want to call it, in Restov is huge. You're gonna have such a hard time. You need to think of a better location. There are a lot of settlements around here, but it is dangerous along the border. I'm usually in and out, bringing one thing, taking another. Pitcher of coffee lands on the table as a waitress hands over some light morning meals and fills up your coffee. And she says, "Hey, mister, if you want to start something brand new, Lady Eldor is hosting a feast at the mansion tonight for anyone who wants to build something in the Stolen Lands. It will be an opportunity of a lifetime." And after some encouragement from the locals, Fish thinks you'll see what this Lady Eldori has to offer. As we see, after a few more minutes, see Fish step out of the tavern. The waitress is standing next to the person you were talking to, and he looks up at her and says, "If it's not a death sentence," and we fade to black. Rocco has some kind of study. Yes, library, a study, something like that. Yeah, so I think if Rocco has a study, is more like a small, actually a very small library, like at some floor of a corner tower in a castle, and the stand table takes most of it. There's shelves of books, and I think we see him leaning over the book. The table itself is covered, so it can be used as an actual table, not as terrain. So the table is covered with some wood to actually work as a table, and on it is open a map of the Stolen Lands. You can see Restov in the northeast.
North.
In the northeast, you can see Pitax at the southwest, Numeria, a bit of Numeria at the northwest, and basically pretty much all rivers and mountains at the southeast. The rest of it is very is highlighted because it's where this map is made, and you can see the entire map full of just danger, opportunity, and he's holding in his hand a copy of the letter. He's been reading it front and back for a few times now. There was no doubt that he's going to attend tonight. So we see him reading the letter, the camera moves into the letter, and when we zoom back out, we can see him standing in front of a mansion. It's 2 stories high, very wide, the gardens are immaculate, and the doors are open, you can see people are already gathering inside, the tables are set, there are 2 guards at the front checking the people coming in, just to see they are who they're expecting. And there's a bit of a line before Rocco can go in. Who comes in after him? Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot to ask. What do we see of Rocco? How does he look like?
So Rocco is a medium-sized man, slim man, a long black hair, and they walk in confidence. And you can see in the back of his in the back, you have a long sword with a pointy curl in the end, and he seems like he's always in a ready move to draw it as much as fast as he can while he walk in confidence to the line.
Who's coming up next?
Fish can be the one stepping up, queuing up behind him.
There aren't a lot of people, but there are enough. You can already see about 15 or so, maybe more inside. You're after Rocco, and Rocco is like currently number 3 in the line.
Rocco look behind and say, "Oh, so you are going to the path of glory with me?"
Yes, I'm hoping they'll take the both of us. You look quite intimidating. You ready for a fight here?
Intimidating? Me?
You seem a bit on edge. Like you're ready to strike. My name is Fish, by the way, he says as he reaches out his hand to, be friendly.
Rocco, at your service.
Nice to
A man always have to be on guard, Anything can happen.
True. Very wise.
And I think you're looking over yourself, checking each other out, when one of you moves to one side and we can see something that looks like a suit of armor standing behind you, holding a warhammer.
Talking about
Or
intimidating.
a mole.
Look at this suit of armor behind us.
Oh, what?
Oh damn! Oh damn!
You're
Okay. The clink,
Oh,
shing,
or-
shing.
If my looks are intimidating, it's just it's just the premise of my adventure. We have to look intimidating to ward off any bandits.
What do you say,
I
Rocco?
agree.
This guy looks pretty strong. Do you wanna?
And your name?
My name is Luther. You may have heard the title Warrior of Sunlight.
I heard something like that.
I never heard of it, but it sounds very impressive. Are you here for Lady Jamandi?
Yes.
Let's say you both roll religion. The name he gives you sounds holier than thou, but
So
you
that,
pick up nothing further.
I'm gonna say that he's probably he ride with like a kind of like a small group of wagons that were bringing supplies for the banquet, and he kind of waves goodbye at them, and he joins into the line, looking at basically taking in everybody who's standing there or who's waiting to get in. So again, he's tall because he's an elf, like 6'5", close to 2 meters, yeah. And you notice he has kind of like, they literally almost look like glowing green eyes. And he's, like I said, he's all in like kind of forest-colored leathers and trim. And like I said, he carries a battle axe and a longbow.
Yeah, and I think that he walks over, walks up, stands in line behind you, and as the camera focuses on him, you can see like a of green in his eyes, and then a small bear about the size of a large dog comes near him, comes to the side, sits down perfectly, and you can see in his eyes too, like of green.
This your friend, Luther? This guy behind you?
I sadly have
Do any of
no
us-
friends outside of Caravan that I have abandoned, so I have no acquaintances here.
I look at Kelden and say, "Are you our guide? You look familiar with the nature. I could use a guide."
Well, I am here in response to the Aldori's letter, and I'm here definitely to seek my fortune. If it happens to be with you fine gentlemen, then, I think that could be worse things I could encounter.
Yeah, and I think with
I'm
Kelvin's background,
Keldon, by the way.
I think with Kelvin's background, he probably went in once or twice into the Stolen Lands just to hunt and gather and watch and scout, but never
Yes.
never truly into the actual kingdom itself.
Like into the heart of it, yeah.
Yeah, you know of it and at least a little bit in it.
The Stolen Lands are not anything to be taken lightly, I can tell you for sure. But I, would potentially be able to help us avoid some of the pitfalls in there.
Excellent. Good to have you too.
As you as you come up to your turn in line, the guard, completely ignoring anything you have to say further, said, so group of 4, and he looks inside, he sees one table with enough spaces for 4 people. Yeah, take your place over there, and as you go, all of you, under the cover of the entrance,
Lightning?
A lightning strike.
yeah,
Dramatic lightning strike.
you can hear the thunder in the distance as a little bit of rain starts to fall. The mansion hall, the gathering hall, you can see tables are set, people are already sitting in it, talking, people are chatting in the background, chatting with themselves, with the guards, and you are directed to take your spot. When you enter, the guards stop Kelden and say, I'm sorry, I don't think the lady would appreciate animals inside.
But he is he's more well behaved than your dogs here.
Really? Prove it.
Sit down.
And
Lay down.
He sits, he lays down, and he looks at you expectantly.
I said I give him like a little like snack out of my belt pouch. Obviously the positive reinforcement. I'm like, look, he's good.
Okay, but you keep him under control and don't let him near the tables.
I'll manage him. Don't you worry.
The way I think about all of these kinds of stories is it's not that everything happens because of you, it's that we're following you because everything happens.
Everything happens around us.
Yeah, because you're the protagonist. As around you, you can see many different people. As you can probably see as players, some of them look different than the others because some of them are more important in the story than others. The spacious hall has been prepared for a great feast. Servants hustle and bustle about, while several armed soldiers, Lady Amandi's house guards, watch over the hall from their positions against the east and west walls. To the north, a fire crackles away in a large fireplace. An iron lever secured by a lock adorns the fireplace's eastern face. Two massive crystal chandeliers hang from the ceiling 20 feet above. The walls are decorated with painted murals of idyllic woodland scenes. Nymphs frolicking amid waterfalls, satyrs dancing with fawns in wooded glades, and various winged fairy creatures flitting through the trees. 9 long tables are arranged around the central portion of the room, each holding plates, utensils, mugs, goblets, and full ready-to-be-poured pitchers of ale, wine, mead, and water. The smell of roasted meat and other delicious scents fill the room, but no food has been served yet.
As we sit down, are there other people on the table with us?
Yes. The first person you notice sitting next to you is a ruggedly handsome man with a constant shadow of beard. He wears dark gray hair in a small bun and carries a distinctive sword that bears the crest of House Varn. 4 hatchets arranged in a circle on his pommel's guard. Rocco knows this. He is sort of not a Swordlord, but like 1 degree beneath. He's important. He's not royalty. He's not a Swordlord. He's like 1 degree beneath a Swordlord. More like a king and a baron.
He's a pretty important guy. Okay.
Next to him is an impeccably dressed in fine robes and silk gnome, and he's kind of pale with big long eyebrows and black and gray hair tied behind him. And he is eyeing everything. The next table over has 2 women with a very distinct size difference. One of them seems to be a barbarian, as you can see from the way she dresses in leathers and quilts. She's very tall and muscular. There's a great sword, almost as big as she is, on the ground next to her. She was wearing leathers and animal skins and hide armor. And the parts of her body you can see are already full of scars, and you can see that some bones have been broken and reset. And she's talking very, very loudly and very enthusiastically to the woman next over, who is a halfling. Seems to be a bit more timid. She is wearing travel clothes, leather armor, a cloak, and she always has a huge book that she sketches in and writes in, and she sometimes talks back to the big lady, but most often just writes things down and looks around. Next over, you see also a tall woman. She is extremely pale, very dark hair, and she wears dark clothing. Her hair is very long. She's wearing pretty much nothing else distinct except what looks like a giant scythe you don't want to touch.
Do we recognize any of these people? Or is it our first time for seeing them?
No, it's your first time, except that Rocco can understand that this person sitting in front of you is important.
There was no food on the table yet. Is there anything to drink?
Yes, there's plenty to drink. Pretty much whatever you want.
Well, I'll pick up a mug and take some small sips as I kind of start eyeing everyone else around here, checking out the competition. Or that's what I believe this to be, at first at least.
Yeah, they seem to be eyeing you the same way.
Yeah, definitely would be kind of like just taking in everybody, and Keldon would be kind of person who's kind of like just trying to gauge everybody, in terms of, how strong or weak they are in comparison and all those kinds of things.
I want you to make a perception check. You know what? Yeah, roll hidden unless I ask otherwise. Each of you can ask about one of the characters, one of the other characters.
I'm asking about the father's woman, the elvish one with the Grim Reaper tool. I don't know the name.
Yeah, she, Asais. She is very quiet. She is very pale, and she keeps to herself. She doesn't look that strong or that capable of much, except that the scythe is not a regular weapon. You don't see it a lot. Mm-hmm. It's mostly, if ever used as a primary weapon, it's because it's a religious choice, or there is something very specific behind it.
Fish is gonna kind of lean into the table and then whisper to the others here as he looks over towards the big barbarian woman with their greatsword. He's gonna say, "Guys, I think that's Konani, the barbarian." He says as he kind of looks over Rocco's shoulder, and what does he see?
She is obviously very big and very strong. She can probably break you in half without even trying. If she wields that greatsword at least half competently, she can probably take almost anyone here one-on-one. And the way she speaks, the way she's very boisterous and basically trying to take over everything in the conversation. So she is very boisterous and loud, and she's obviously also looking at you, trying to figure out if you're strong or weak or a problem or help. And but you also think that she's probably acting like that because she's covering some kind of insecurity.
Really?
Yep.
Who's this woman here?
She is NPC adventurer number 3.
Okay, so she's the
most generic woman description.
I think the options are these three.
The wizard and
just...
the god.
Or maybe this guy over here, who knows?
So I guess this guy.
Keldon rolled very high perception. You can tell these clothes are bespoke. They are of very fine material. They are of very fine material, very well made. This guy seems like he should be a money counter, not an adventurer. He looks like...
Okay.
Yeah, the description says he looks more like a prince than an adventurer. He's also kind of aloof, acting as he's looking at you and sometimes interrupting other conversations. And he's obviously looking down at pretty much everyone.
A gnome who looks down at others.
Yeah, and every once in a while you can read from his conversation, from his comments, that he thinks that he should be the ruler of the new kingdom, and probably no one else can do it but him.
High on himself, got it.
Yep.
A nigger that's higher than himself.
Yeah. Somebody's a little too big for their britches over there, and their small britches even too.
You know he's at the same table as us, right?
And?
Well, nothing.
The next scene will be an influence scene, pretty much mingling with the others and seeing how you fare. So, Fish, pick one of the following. If you want to know which skill influences the barbarian the most, one of her biases, her resistance to influence, or her weakness to influence.
I think I want to know one of our biases.
One of her biases. Yeah, she's obviously would be more engaged with people she thinks are big and strong or very competent.
Okay.
Now I want Keldon to pick two of these.
Let's go with their influence, weakness, and their bias.
Yeah, so you pretty much picked up the bias. He is he's very aloof. He thinks he's better than everyone else.
Superiority complex.
Yeah,
got it.
he looks like he has a superiority complex, and you, a very down-to-earth person, can see that right away. You're pretty sure that if you compliment him and flatter him and say how good he is, it will go over well.
Okay. Flattery.
But you probably don't mean it, so you'll need to play it up.
I have to lie.
And Luther, I'm guessing, is checking out the tall black
The
dressed
only one
gentleman.
remaining.
Yeah, you can pick between the
wait.
tall black dressed gentleman or the little halfling. She's very sprightly, she's very excited, she seems to be looking for something, but you're not quite sure what yet. You can pick one of the options I gave. Actually, let me throw them in chat because you should know the rules for influence. This is called the Discover check.
I think I'd go for the weakness as well.
You can tell by the way she sketches and writes that she's an artist. And the way she talks to the barbarian woman and to the people next to her, she is trying to glean as much information as possible. She doesn't seem to be here to run a kingdom, but to write the story of one. So if you look like that person, you're in with her.
Can I kind of
Ready for whatever.
elbow Luther a bit and tell him, I think Konani over there would be impressed by you. I've heard a lot of stories of her. She's a fan of strong, big people. If you want to, give her a try at some point.
Well, it certainly looks like she can bend the ones unwilling to her, but it seems to be of a small width.
This woman is about as tall as Luther, not as heavily armored, but you can appreciate a warrior, and she is one. And let's say that during conversation, you can see. Are you seeing their names?
What?
Seeing what?
Yeah, I can see those two.
Yeah.
The
So
two up here.
Oh,
Amiri
I'd say a
and
lot.
Lindsay. This is Tartuccio. This is Mager Varn. This is Jaethel. You're only getting the start of the conversation when a striking half-elf woman enters the hall. He is followed by an aristocratic middle-aged human man. The man wears finely tailored clothing fit for a noble, while the woman appears dressed for battle. She wears a fine leather coat over a sparkling mail shirt, and at her waist hangs an Eldori dueling sword with a bright silver pommel. The two make their way to the head table where they remain standing. While all of you pretty much assume that Lady Jamandi Aldori, Rokon knows. It's her, the dueling sword gives it away even if you didn't know the face. They make their way to the head table, but they stay standing. So they move over here. The man speaks first. Greetings, heroes. I am Joseph Selemius, Lord Mayor of Brestol. And this, he gestures to the woman beside him, is Lady Amandi Aldori. We both thank you for answering her call for heroes. You may be few, but we need only the best for this great task. Lady Amandi offers the room a bright smile before she speaks. South of here, beyond Brevoy's border, lie the Stolen Lands. This disputed territory has been claimed time and again by would-be settlers, but because the area has been a haven for bandits and monsters, it has never been held for long. Restov intends for this to change. If you have enough courage to drive off the dangerous denizens of the Stolen Lands, you can seize territory for yourself and name yourselves Baroness or Barons or whichever you like. Restov intends to recognize the legitimacy of the new rulers of this land, and none of the other neighboring realms care enough to challenge you. We are prepared to provide backing as a trade partner and a military ally. If you claim the land, you will have my, indeed all of Restov's, support. Lady Amandi raises her goblets. But the details of your individual missions and charters into the Stolen Lands can wait. I raise my glass to you, brave heroes. For now, let us eat and enjoy the evening. Tomorrow promises to be a very busy day. As she finishes speaking, she sits down, they both sit down, and pretty much on cue, servants from both of the big doors to the east and the west start coming in and filling up platters, dispensing meals. There are 4 courses from light greens and savory oils to seasoned chickens and waterfowls, a tender roast boar, and a fine selection of desserts and cheeses. And as you eat and mingle, servants keep bustling about, refilling tankards and clearing plates. I want you all to recall knowledge about Lady Aldori, and Rocco can do it with a +2.
There's a recall knowledge. You just click it with the roll. It should give Aaron everything in terms of knowledge.
Yeah, and it's blind, right?
It does automatically
yeah,
roll it,
yeah.
and it's blind.
The recall knowledge macro just rolls the die and applies all the skills that could be applicable, as well as showing a success or a failure result.
Note to self, if I asked for a general recall knowledge check and players use the recall knowledge macro, then I pick the skill that is most specific to the topic at hand and use that result regardless if any less specific skill had a better result. Those are pretty low rolls all around, so you don't recall anything incorrect, but you don't know much than what's evident.
Who's that lady speaking over there? When is Jamandi coming out? Does anyone know?
I only heard of a name, but never seen such a person.
Weird.
Perhaps it's her in the dining table of the royalty.
Okay.
It must be important if they're letting her sit there at least.
The next scene is influence encounter. During an influence encounter, there are several rounds. In here, there are 6 in which you can choose another character, not a PC, and interact with them, and try to get on their good side in case you meet them again or need something from them in the future. And as you can see around you, I think you probably know, if not, I'll spell it out. It's not that some people here or some group will be chosen and sent to the Stolen Lands. Everyone here is going to the Stolen Lands. And everyone here, probably in some groups, will try to start a new kingdom and get the job done. Anyone, if only one group can do it, fine. If more than one group can do it, the Swordlords would love that as well. The more chances, the merrier. So you will probably see some of these people again in the future.
I said many of them, I'm sure.
Each round, you each can take one of 2 actions, which is to discover, that is, to see if you can understand something about that character and how they tick, or to influence them and try to gain favor with them. And how influence works is that when you talk with one character, by the matter of what you decide to talk about and what you exchange, there will be a skill check for different characters. Because of what they like and what they don't like, there will be different DCs for different skills, and they also have different DCs for discovering things about them, and that's it. If you succeed better, you get more favor, and etc., etc. And let me just also share the influence action with the chat. And of course, the more influence you have with a character, the better.
And you said that there were some specific skills that each of these characters have that they have specific affinities to, or that they like more, or your chances are higher of getting influence with them if you are able to.
For example, and yes, you have noticed that there are 2 other characters that also look like important NPCs not in your table, which you can choose to address as the feast carries on. And I'll use the simplest example. For example, Amiri, the barbarian, appreciates strength and competency, so if you want to physically impress her with an athletics check, that'll probably be the easiest way to go. In general, I'll get a bit more into it. There are several discovery DCs, depending on the skill check you choose to figure out the character. And that gives you an option to learn about their influence DCs, the checks you need to do to gain influence with them, and all the resistances or weaknesses to influence they have, which are certain actions or things you can say or do that will give you somewhat of an edge in this in these checks. So, for example, if I'm talking about some character's weakness, if you do something specific in that weakness, for example, flattery and compliments for Tartuccio, then it makes some checks easier. And if you go with something that an NPC resists, then it makes some checks harder. So let's go with Rocco.
Okay, so my problem is I want to influence Amiri, but I don't want to do it with my athletics. I want to somewhat do it with my acrobatics. So if I need to study it in the first round to know how to do it correctly, I can use the first turn on that.
Well, I think they said strength and competence. Acrobatics
Yeah,
would
so-
definitely.
So,
Impart-
acrobatic is competence, because if I do it really, really well and I
Maybe she'll be
Can
impressed
show it.
if you can like juggle your sword. You do
Like,
it super well.
yeah.
It doesn't become a total like.
jump on the table and do a backflip with my sword in my right hand. Ready.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, imagine you're dining at peace and then somebody behind you is just doing backflips.
Like, I want
It'd be
to,
best if you don't embarrass, every
stand
all
on
of
the
us.
table.
You know?
Stand on the table, do the backflip, and then move my head toward her and start the conversation.
So you're starting by trying to impress her. I thought you said you were going to start by trying to see how to impress her.
Was thinking how to impress, but if an acrobatic check is a decent option,
I'll give it to you, but it's
I'll-
going to be slightly harder than athletics. I don't know if you can have -1 influence, but I think I'm going to note it down.
It said you can gain negative influence in the
Fail your backflip and crash into the table.
critical failure. You lose 1 influence point with the chosen NPC.
We don't know this clown.
I
He's not
don't
with us.
have
He's not with us.
influence point.
And
Oh my god!
Of course, of course.
so I think what happens is you try to jump on the stool to get really impressive with swashbuckling, and you misstep, you slide down, you hit your knee, fall on your back, your sword slips and jams into the carpet next to your head.
I will give up on talking to her after the incident. I will just go to the other side of the table.
I'll leave you alone forever now.
Okay, I would like to, offer Rocco to exchange places.
It's like everyone scooch over a bit. You are trying to chat with Lindsay. What's up?
Yes. Pardon my intrusion in your Outreach doings, but are you one by chance?
Yes, I'm Lindsay. I'm a traveling bard. I collect stories. I pick up adventures. I like to write poems.
That is quite promising. Though not every bard ends up with a great one, but the ones that do, they are spoken legends of. I hope you will achieve that one day as well.
Please make a society check. I should have said it. My rule is, if you roll a check I haven't asked, if you roll a check wrong, I don't count it. You re-roll it, no matter what it was.
Alright. Yep, fair enough, I do the same.
Okay.
Okay, let me get Lindsay's sheet. Note. Okay. So yeah, you talk about traveling stories and bars, and you share stories that you've heard from other bars, and she talks a bit about what she's come across coming up to here. You notice she's a little bit cagey about where she started. She avoids the subject, but talks wildly about anything else relating to art and poetry and painting. She pretty much likes everything. And you gain 1 influence with Lindsay.
Should we be recording these on our character sheet or something, or how's that going to work?
You may record them on your character sheet however you like. I record it on their character sheet.
Okay.
Can I look across the table and kind of eye up Tartusio here?
Yes.
Does he look like a wizard?
I think that is a perception or arcana check.
I will strain my eyes and take a look at him very hard.
He's obviously meddling with some book. He opens and closes every once in a while, but it could just be a ledger or a journal.
Fish is going to lean in a bit closer on the table, and he's going to look over at Tartusio here, and he's going to say, "My, these beautiful robes that you wear, are they made of starlight, or is it merely your brilliance, your genius giving them its sparkle?" You're Tartusio, right? Your reputation precedes you. What are you doing here?
I think that is deception, right?
I don't know what that would be.
Probably.
It-
It
I'm
may be
possibly
diplomacy
bullshitting.
because he's not trying to deceive anyone.
Deception
I'm
or
not-
diplomacy?
I think it's deception or diplomacy or performance. He answers, yes, I mean, I don't, it's not actual starlight, it's just very fine silk. You can get them at any high-end store. Are you okay, or are you a bit moonstruck? He seems to be not entirely beholden to you.
Okay.
Dang it. I'm not messing with Tartuccio. I'm not a social guy at all. So I'm going to go and talk to Amiri. I'm going to have my battle axe in my hand. I'm going to kind of rest down at the table. And I'm going to point to her sword and such a fine blade. Might I examine it?
It's right here. You can look at it as much as you want.
May I try it out? Hold it?
Are you sure you can hold something this big?
I would love to show you.
Okay, roll athletics.
Yep.
You lift the sword, and it's kind of wobbly, and it's hard for you to get a proper grip of the balance. I'm thinking of it. Have you seen Berserk, the anime? First of all, great series, even though it's a bit old by now. But the part of the style of it is that the protagonist has a huge sword. It's just a handle about this big, and then another like 2 or 3 meters of sword of just huge metal, and
Organic.
and it's kind of like that. Not exactly like that, but kind of like that. And you're not used to this style, and you can pretty much hold it up, but that's about it. You're not really proficient in swinging it around.
I mean, that would be what I would try to do. Just kind of pick it up and hold it, and then maybe like flourish it around once or twice, and that's it. Doesn't sound like I did too well on my roll.
Yeah, she is not overly impressed, but she appreciates the attempt.
No influence garnered. Well, so much for that.
What is Rocco doing?
Well, I hope Migar Varn here didn't saw my performance.
Megar Varn.
And yeah, and I will try to impress him with my knowledge about him, and I will say, "Oh, I know you. You are. I heard all of your stories and your greatness. It's good to see we have a professional here with us."
Yeah, I'm also here hoping to start my own little kingdom. I have no intentions of taking over the entire stolen lands, but I'm thinking about a little settlement in a nice place, some people, some community. That's something. What do you intend?
Same. I want to start my
Legacy. Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I have 3 brothers myself, and I'm not going to be anywhere close to in line for inheritance. So using just a little bit of influence to get in here and get a charter seems like a good idea right now.
yeah, I think so too.
You strike up a bit of a chat about what's going on, how things will go in the future, some ways to go about it, but you don't gain influence.
Do you do poetry?
I like to write poetry sometimes, yeah.
I just had some gifted to me by my parents when I ventured off, but that's all I ever had. Could you share something if you're willing?
Oh, really? You don't have anything from your parents? They didn't leave you anything?
I had to leave quite urgently and didn't have time to say goodbyes to them.
Oh, that's so sad. I mean, I can kind of relate. I also left home in a hurry, didn't have time to grab much. Luckily, I got this, and she shows off her book. She flips through it a bit. Oh, here's something nice I read on the road. I heard on the road. And please roll society.
All right.
Actually, yeah, very nice. You have +2 with Lindsay.
Is he the only one who's been successful so far?
Yeah. Oh, doesn't mean unsociable.
Yeah, the antisocial person is getting the most ahead.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna try his luck with Tartuccio again.
Maybe went a little over the top the first time.
Yeah, maybe I, buttered it, too much. I don't know. Sorry about the rope. It's an exquisite rope, but sorry, I was just thoroughly impressed by your presence.
Well, at least you can appreciate some good fashion sense.
Truly. I recall that there was a legendary magician that went by the name of Tartuccio. Truly, if there was any mortal mind worthy of being archived in Nethys' library itself, it would be that man. I read his arcane thesis once and I was so thoroughly impressed. You don't happen to be this man, do you? And if so, what are you doing? Are you doing here?
I think for buttering up the applicable skill is diplomacy, so I say you can use the diplomacy or deception.
Okay.
Actually, in this case, you can also use Arcana. Really, a great mage. I've been around and I did study in some of the best institutions around. Did you read my graduate thesis? That's interesting. I didn't know it was published so far and wide. What did you like about it?
Everything.
Yeah, he tackles you with a question you obviously don't know the answer to, and I think you fluster a bit, and there is no gained influence.
Sorry, I'm getting a call. Be right back. Yeah. I assume I don't get any influence points.
Yeah, no influence on Totuccio.
So,
Team no influence.
Why are the rolls so bad?
Boundary does not like us. So,
yeah.
Given that I'm already here, I'm going to just basically start talking to Jathal more to just kind of get an impression of her because I haven't studied her yet. He's going to I guess, I don't know, it's customary to shake hands or whatever in this society or whatever, right?
It's not uncommon. I mean, the Restov is not a major cultural center, but a lot of people come and go through here, so you get a lot of customs. Shaking hands is a known custom.
Maybe. Okay, well, I'm gonna do kind of like it's I guess kind of partially elven too, but like hold his hand like right here, and do like a slight bow and saying, "My name is Keldon, and who might you be?"
My name is Jathal, and that's pretty much all that matters, I think, right now.
Are you here by yourself or with a group or?
No, I came here by myself. Yeah, I was hoping to I'm trying to get a bit more engaged in, let's say, polite society. Still difficult, you know. I want you to make a perception check. Yeah, you can tell that she's seriously introverted. She is trying to socialize and being very bad at it. It's like she knows what she wants, but she doesn't know how to get there, and just the act of trying to is makes her very anxious. What do you think you can pick up about her?
So it sounds like she's probably not too unlike Keldon, that he's lived most of his life roaming the wild, so he's not like good at engaging people socially. I ask her, like, what are your interests? Like, what are you good at? And like, to start off, he's like, I'm really good with like moving unseen through the woods, stalking prey.
You figure out that she's basically just trying to make at least an acquaintance, and that if you genuinely try to connect with her, it's the best way to get to her. And she says,
Okay.
Well, I kind of serve my deity, and like your big guy over there. She points to Luther, because pretty much like senses like.
Yeah.
And also, it's kind of I heard what you said earlier, what all of you said, and I guess my thing too is to exact justice on those who truly deserve it. That's my calling.
That's not too different from myself. I kind of travel the wilds, keeping the people in the civilized towns, free from having to face the dangers that they otherwise might if the dangers of the wild crept in on them. I think we could make a good team potentially during these times.
You're also, I guess, kind of running the outskirts of civilization, not exactly fitting in, I guess mostly fitting out.
Yes, that's a pretty good way to characterize it.
Yeah, you seem to have gotten some kind of in with her. That was a discover check, but you know that if you warm up to her, she'll warm up to you. Though being close, you feel that it's like she has a cold exterior that is trying to break through.
I'd say that's a pretty good discover check.
Yes, round 3.
I will talk to Varn again. In the previous turn, I was trying to remember the story that I heard about him, but now I will try to flatter, tell him his plan that he talked about is really good, and it seems like I think he will be success, and I hope that I will be in his company or something like that.
Make a diplomacy or society check. Damn, these rolls today.
Hello again?
Yeah, there you go.
Jeez.
My condolences.
Yeah, so you talk about a little bit about where you both come from. He tells you that he's actually the son of a baron not far from here, but he's third born, so his chance of inheriting anything are slim to none. So he's using whatever influence and resources he can gather to get in on the stolen lands and maybe make a new name for himself. And you can see he appreciates the fact that you don't hold it against him, you don't look down on him because he's not exactly lowborn, but far from
Not
royalty.
firstborn.
Yeah, and he appreciates the fact that you're not making him feel bad about it. And he tells you that in his dream he wants to set up a little settlement in some kind of important crossroads in the stolen lands, maybe on a river, so they can handle trade and all of that stuff. You understand that treating him with respect to his standing and family is good, and not making him feel bad about his family status, and that while you might think that he feels bad about being far from in line to the throne, he still holds the Aldoris, rest of the Brevois in high regard, and will take no guff about them. So you get that. Luther.
So I'll continue the previous topic and we'll get out with the bell, the handbell, and show it to her.
Yeah, as we shift over back to Luther and Lindsay, you can see she's pointing at some sketches of roads and people she saw, and Luther is showing her the bell and talking about its origin.
Basically, sharing my backstory with her, and in the end, asking about her dream and final goal of being an adventurer or bard in this case.
Make a performance, society, or diplomacy check.
I would go for diplomacy.
First of all, a note about randomness. There are several ways to generate randomness. Roll20 uses something that is called the quantum roll, which is pretty much very close to true random. Foundry uses the Mersenne twister, which is pretty much the agreed way to get pseudo-random numbers in code today. It's not true randomness, but it's as close as makes no difference for most applications. I expect to see randomness in rolls in most games I play, even online. And sometimes you get games where people just roll the same over and over and over again.
The same as who?
Don't worry, guys, I'll absorb all the bad luck.
So you can see when someone looking from the side can see that Luther is leaning in to Lindsay, Lindsay is leaning in to Luther. She seems to be raptured by the story. She actually takes notes as you tell it, and she tries to sketch the night you describe, and you gain another influence with Lindsay.
Great.
Nice.
Up to 3? Nice.
Actually,
No,
he rolled critical, so it's 4.
Oh my god, okay.
Critical? Oh my gosh.
One of his rolls was critical.
Yeah, the natural
What?
charmer.
One of his
What kind of roll?
One of his influence roll with Lindsay was a critical.
Fish is gonna try again with Tartuccio over here.
Mhm.
After having looked away for a bit and having pretended to, draw some glyphs in the air, thinking really hard, sending a fake message out into somewhere, he's gonna come back, sit down, and say, apologies, it's my assistant. Interrupting at the worst time possible. Your thesis, you say, truly a work of art, far too complex for a humble mind like my own to understand. Truly, you are a genius. However, tell me, the first thing a new kingdom needs surely is a competent, visionary, magical advisor. Wouldn't you agree? Purely hypothetically, of course.
Of course, every new ruler needs a good advisor by their side. Hopefully, several advisors expert on different topics. For example, I myself am I would consider myself quite an expert on matters of culture and administration of people and kingdom affairs.
Splendid. Does that work?
No, it's actually critical failure.
No.
And what happens is he kind of takes over the conversation, and you pretty much don't get an award in edgewise.
Surely I have absorbed all the bad luck now.
Yeah, there are bad and there are good luck siphons.
Yeah.
We'll get to
I mean,
balance.
seriously, I look back and I see Kelden had one, Luther had one, Luther actually had 2, but most of you just roll below 10, almost consistently.
Sorry
What?
guys,
It's
this guy's
both.
gonna end up having bone deep hatred for us. You might keep an eye
Yeah.
on this because we might see him again in the future in a bad way.
She said that she tries to exact justice in the name of her deity, right?
Yes.
Tell me who it is that you follow. That is something that I take interest in, if you're willing to talk about it.
My personal faith is not something I like to discuss openly. It's a private matter, especially in this kind of company.
Of course.
But we might be able to discuss it further if we have a bit of private time. I want you to roll religion.
Let's see how horrible this one is.
But if you also saying you're a person of faith, if you don't mind talking about your edicts, what you follow, what's a guiding light for you?
So yeah, I was just looking at the deities because I'm gonna probably pick ones here. Trying to think what's a good one that's kind of like based around the forests and stuff like that.
There are many, but let's see. Abadar has a travel domain.
If you're not sure now, you could probably just make something random up and
Yeah, you
try
can.
and
You
deceive
can.
them.
You can.
I mean,
you
yeah,
can,
I guess.
you can say I follow insert name of nature deity here, and we can talk about it later.
And I guess we can just to start with say Erastil.
Rastel is also known as the stag god, a very old god, and yeah, they govern the domains of plants and animals and community.
Yeah, I think because following him is part of the reason why I see myself kind of apart from others, but why I do make it my mission to protect others.
Yes, I'm familiar with the stag god. It's funny that sometimes when you think about things that should actually bring us together, like a god that fosters community and fosters that as part of the guidelines, can actually drive people away if they don't understand it.
Yeah, that is the hardest part, to impart that understanding upon others.
You gain one influence with Jacob.
Sweet.
I want to use the discover action. I want to study Valerie at the right.
Oh, Valerie.
Perception.
What are you trying to know about her?
I want to know how to influence her.
I think, actually, you can use warfare law. You can see a lot of people here actually seem to be dressed in evening clothes or something comfortable. Very few, like you, ready to hit the ground running. And Amiri is obviously one of them. Valerie is obviously one of them. You can see her. She's wearing scale mail. She has a big sword, and a big shield. I guess she's pretty much the most you would associate here. The person here that you would associate the most with a warrior. She is pretty gorgeous. She seems to hide it. I mean, you can see from her face that she could easily be a model or concubine or something, but she cuts her hair short. She dresses with mail and lots of leather to hide her figure, and she definitely. Actually, let's go with warfare law for the next part, because you can recognize that.
Okay, but statistically,
Mhm.
the warfare won't be better than my perception because I have no intelligence.
Yes, but I know that Rocco is a student of warfare, and I know that with her, warfare is easier.
I warn you. I don't know what the number, but I bet it's low. Finally.
Oh my
Okay,
god, okay.
pick two questions.
Okay. Two questions. What are the topics that I can choose from?
I like the way that this Discover action works. It's kind of like how Apocalypse World Engine works. So I'm saying you can either pick one of those in the action description, or come up with your own question that seems close to that, similar, or you think would help you in any way that doesn't break everything. If it might break everything, I'll just stop you. But feel free to ask anything along those lines.
I want to know one resistance, so I don't make the wrong move.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a quick duel with her.
This,
I want
think,
to
I
check
think,
if she
no,
will
I think you
resist to
know.
it.
I think you know more than pretty much anyone here. This is not the place for this. You can have
This is
something
Give a
else.
little
Okay,
like little
formal-
thumb war,
so,
you know. Try and beat them.
a formal dining experience. That's
Yeah. If you even manage to get to that point, you're sure you will be quickly shut down by one of the guards, if not two.
which skill that can influence the NPC as the lowest DC? Like the first one that I can choose?
Okay, so first of all, you can see that she's very reserved. She is polite, she's courteous, but she pretty much rebuffs anyone who approaches her and, just because of her looks. She seems to be looking around for something kind of suspiciously, but from what she is and how she acts, you know that diplomacy is the way to go with her. But you also know that if you talk war with her, if you talk fighting styles and stuff like that, military history, that will also go quite a way.
Luto.
She's also an artist, like the one that prefers to sketch. I would hook up to it and offer her to sketch mandala, the deific symbol on the armor.
So
He's gonna do the cliche, strike a pose and be like, take a picture. It lasts longer.
yeah, she seems to be very interested, and when you talk about how you're planning to go into the stolen lands and rid it of evil and enact justice wherever bandits abound, you do like a little, and she quickly sketches it out. Roll a performance check. He seems to be at least having fun with this. You gain another point of influence with Lindsay.
Nice.
Let's just say it's not easy to fill up the meter, but he's getting there.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean the mandala is like extremely complex thing.
Does it get like harder and harder, or is it the same?
It doesn't get harder, but do you know the term fictional positioning?
Not really.
It's something that I learned from Dungeon World, from Apocalypse World. It's pretty much ingrained in the system, but I think it's good for pretty much anywhere else. The idea is what you describe of your character, what you're doing, how they look, how they act, what they say, puts your character in a specific fictional position in the story. And from there, I draw mechanical influence. So first of all, feel free to correct me if I didn't understand what you're getting at, but if you're saying, I talk with Lindsay about her sketches, her art, and we exchange some stories, and then I say, would like to sketch me, and I make a pose, that's a performance check.
No, I mean just show her the symbol and like that is quite an intricate symbol. Would you like to sketch that? Something like
Yeah, that too, because it appeals to her artistic intents.
Yeah, I'm fine with the performance roll.
And on the influence sheet, on the character's influence sheet, there are mostly somewhere between 5 and 10 skills to influence them, and the more specific ones, the easier ones, come with notes to say what triggers it. Also, to give guides a hint. So you can approach pretty much every NPC with intimidation or deception or diplomacy or society. These are kind of general approaches, but some characters have more specific approaches that the DCs are easier, and they trigger off specific interests. I think it's okay because the randomness is a factor here, and so I'm completely okay with the DCs just being the same. And if you apply to the same one, if you know what really works, then you can hit it again and again. I'm actually reading a book right now about decoding people's personalities, how to approach them in a way that they feel they're important. You're treating them the way they want to be treated. So if you go to Lindsay and talk about art, she can go on for days.
Okay.
Cool.
That's what I did. Approached to her with interest of hers.
If it's my turn, then I am gonna excuse myself from Tartusio. I'm gonna walk up next to Calvin over here. Jesus Christ, this guy over here. He's not. I'm gonna look over at Jathal. If that was how you pronounced their name.
Yeah, Jathal.
Hopefully, I'll have a better time here, seeing that she's also a cleric.
Is she a cleric? You know that?
I got that impression. I don't know. Maybe she's a champion.
You
But-
don't know if she's specifically a cleric? Yeah, I think it's Pathfinder specifically, there are a lot of classes. So you do know she's a person of faith.
I'm gonna come over to her and I'm gonna say, you and I, we walk different paths to the divine. This scythe that you have, might this be your deity's favorite weapon? Could you tell me more about them?
I want you to make a religion check. Yes, this is my deity's favorite weapon. I know it's not a very common one or very popular one, but I find it fits my purpose. And you get that she's avoiding talking about her deity and her faith, and with your role, you don't get any influence, you don't get any discovery. You figure out that it's a deity's weapon, it's a divine weapon, but you don't know what. You don't know who.
I pull out a small glistening golden piece.
A little nugget.
It's a coin. Basically, put it on the table in front of her and say, "Well, I'm a follower of Shaika. It's been a pleasure to meet you. One of my god's edicts is that I leave gifts. Here you go." As I walk away. As I pass Keldon, I also want to say, she definitely follows someone evil.
Yeah.
You put the coin down. Don't forget to remove one gold piece. You put down the coin and walk away, and we can see the cameras zoom out a bit from where your face was, and we can see Keldon facing Jaethal. And she picks up the coin, and her almost resting skull face turns up a bit in a smirk, and she lifts it up, flips it with a finger, catches it again. That was a friend of yours, huh? He's cute.
Yeah.
And she puts it in her pocket.
Maybe we're winning.
And I will note that though Pathfinder still has the alignment grid, I am mostly ignoring it. There are some creatures that you'll find that are evil or good by definition, though I don't want you to think evil and good in the traditional terms. It's more like a kind of state of being, of a definition of their character. So I'm not thinking about regular humanoids alignment pretty much at all. And while deities probably have a certain kind of alignment by their definition as primal forces.
Well, I thought the remaster did away with alignments.
As far as I can see, even in the remaster, there is alignment. Feel free to correct me. So you'll find angels, demons, deities, stuff like that. They usually have alignments. It's more like, it's not evil and good. It's like evil and good. Even if you worship an evil god, which Fish is picking up rather properly, it doesn't necessarily say anything specific about you.
I think it stayed in the remaster because it's like most likely to just have a reference on what God intends you to do or behave.
I think I will continue trying to talk to Jaethal, and basically I'm just going to kind of say something along the lines of, it's such an interesting thing when you really think about it, when it comes to the faith for any given individual, how you can have several people who all worship the same deity, and yet the way they come to their faith and the way they believe things is completely different from one another, and yet they're still just as devout as others. It's kind of makes you think about our existence here on this planet.
What did your friend whisper to you?
He just found you to be an interesting person.
Because she's deathly pale, you can see a light reddening of the cheeks as she lowers her gaze and says, "That's a compliment, I guess. That he seems to have run away. Is he also kind of shy?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Shyness can also be, I guess, taught or ingrained into you, depending on where you are, where you go, how people treat you.
Yep.
Let's say I've had not as much luck with that. Make a diplomacy check.
Something I am not good at, but I will try. How much worse was it?
Much worse.
Well, you have +0.
Yeah.
She seems to be shying away from you, like she's trying to tell you something that's hard for her to say, and you're not picking up on it, and
Okay.
it makes her shut in a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, you lose 1 influence.
Oh shit! Oh god!
All right. Back to 0.
What happens if
Are
I
we
click
what round?
this?
I will go to Valerie, and when I am close to her, I will look at her eyes. I will say something like impressive. And when she starts thinking I'm talking about her look, I will turn my face to the armor, and I will say, the armor, your posture. It seems I'm not the only one who ready to anything. I'm Rocco. Nice to meet you.
Okay. When you start talking to her, you can see that she's flaring up, ready to slap you or even punch you. But when you start talking about her armor, she's like, yeah, it was specially made for me. I want you to make a warfare check. Yeah, you're also a fighter? I don't see you wearing any strong armor. Do you fight like that?
Well, a big armor will just drag me down, and I show her how quick I am with my foot.
Yeah, so she smiles a bit as you kind of dance in place.
That's footwork.
Yeah, like they teach you in school, footwork is important. And and she smiles a bit. You gain 1 influence with Valerie.
Finally. That's the end of my turn.
I guess I would strike up a little bit of a new theme, get a piece of religious texts, and tell her a bit of a backstory about it, and show it to her, telling that it's like
Yeah, then make a religion check.
telling to her that it's scripts and icons of the deity I follow, stuff like that.
I am not an expert on Golarian lore, so tell me, is Chamidu a known goddess, a highly worshipped goddess, or someone more esoteric?
It's a Vodran goddess. Vodra is in the Crying Jungle, relatively close to the Stolen Lands.
So it's kind of esoteric. It's not something that urban people worship.
For the people of Crying Jungle, as far as I got it.
Yeah, so it's more, it's a religion mostly pursued by wildlings.
Kind of, yeah.
Make a religion check. Damn.
Oh god! Another crit.
So,
Whatever, I think that, as you can see from a bird's point of view, like Fish is stumbling with Bertuccio, Kelden is kind of back and forthing on Jaethel, Rocco is trying his luck every which way, but whatever Luther is doing is working. and you take out your personal journal and you explain where you come from, how you got into this kind of faith, and she asks appropriate questions. She seems to be either completely ignorant about Shamidu or knows very little about her, and she takes much interest in what you're telling her, and you gain 1 more influence with Lindsay.
Shit, it's me already again. Fuck. What do I see over here on this guy to the left?
You see a very well-built dwarf. He looks kind of old, even for a dwarf, and by the way, at least in my Golarian, no one is living thousands of years. Dwarves are one of the longer living races, but they usually... I was thinking, and we can discuss this further, but dwarves' eldest is about 200, while elf eldest is about 300. So you can clock him at about 100 something.
Okay.
Okay.
And he seems to be wearing like
Yeah.
a chain mace and a.
Yeah, he's bald. He has a long and well-kempt salt and pepper beard. He wears heavy mail. He has a flail at his side. And
I see that he has a lot of skulls and things on him. Do these look like religious symbols, or is this just for intimidation effect?
let me see what we see about him. Yes, his shield on the ground beside him has a very prominent skull figure on it. You also see skulls every which way on what he's wearing. When you get a bit closer, you can see his table companions try to ignore him as much as they can. They don't like
Right.
talking to him. He seems very friendly. When you look at him from afar, he seems to be enjoying himself. He drinks plentifully. He seems to be loving the chat, but every now and then you catch him saying something like, "The end days are coming. Everything will be destroyed. We're just waiting until the end." Things like that.
Okay, so this guy's a bit of a doomsayer
Pretty much.
type of guy. Does that spend my turn?
That was your discover. Yes, you
Okay, cool.
failed to discover more than that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll discover.
it's something I really like about him because he's very friendly. He's very jovial. He likes people. He likes to interact. He likes to travel, but he just keeps talking about the end times, like it's just around the corner. What is Keldon doing?
He's going to actually turn to Amiri. You know, he's basically going to try to make an approach of, like, yeah, I highly respect your sword. At the same time, I truly value the bow. It's nothing like being able to put 3 arrows in a guy before he even gets within 20 feet of you, which I think is still respectable, you know?
I don't want to say it outright, but you can have a very, very specific great edge with Amiri.
A great edge.
Maybe this has something to do with survival. Maybe she'd be interested in that.
Also, the ability to get along in the wilds, where most people are complaining within a matter of, you know, half an hour, and, you know, feeling at home. And, you know, I spend more time in the wilds than I do in civilized places. I don't really like civilized places, to be honest. You look like someone who gets along good in the wilds as well, or am I mistaken?
She looks at you weirdly, like you're trying to accuse her of something, and she says, "What do you mean by that?"
I'm saying, like, a lot of people, like most of these civilized folks, you put them out in the wilds and they're like crying for their moms in a matter of hours. Whereas I think you're kindred to me, where we thrive in those kinds of environments. Or have I misjudged you?
Are you familiar with the barbarian tribes of the Stolen Lands?
I'm going to say that he probably has like a, because he's been in the Stolen Lands before, so he probably has like a, not a like a super strong knowledge of them, but he's definitely aware of them, I would say.
I want you to roll survival.
Another below 10 roll? Or no?
No. Yeah, I come from the Mammoth. You've heard of them? And yes, you heard of them. They are one of the tribes. Pretty much a lot, if not all, barbarian tribes enshrine ruggedness and strength. The Mammoth pretty much take it to the extreme. So,
Of course, I've heard of the Mammoth. You guys do it better in the wildlands than anybody else, of course.
punches you in the shoulder, not as hard as she can, but it makes a dent. See, you've been around, yeah. Where the Mammoth clan is, it's all about strength and survivorship. And as she talks, she seems to be getting louder and louder with each and every word. And as she talks, you can see her. She shows you her biceps and.
Oh yeah, I'm going to play that up with her, and if she's drinking, I'm going to be like, come on, let's drink some together. I'm sure sharing drinks together with someone like her is probably a good thing as well.
Yeah, and you exchange a few rounds about
The dangers of the stolen lands and stuff like that.
Yeah, and while you do that, Japhil seems to be turning to play with her food a bit. Make a perception check. Oof. So you can see she's playing with her food, and she has the gold coin that Fish gave her on the table, between her finger and the table, and she's like twisting it around. And you catch that she hasn't eaten anything.
Hmm.
And it seems that she has a goblet of mead, but it's full.
Okay. I will note that down in my. So she's just kind of like sitting and fumbling at things, but not really like not eating, not drinking.
You rolled a critical perception check. So
Oh wow.
you can see that she tries to be pretending that she's eating, but she's mostly cutting up stuff, moving things around. There's not really any place to throw things away to make her plate look empty, but she's pretending to be eating, and she might not like the food. She might have already eaten, but you take notice. You definitely see that.
So yeah, but no, my main focus is switched to trying to influence Amiri now. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna take note of that. That seems strange.
Okay.
So what is did I gain any influence or anything with Amiri or
Yes, you gain 1 influence with Amiri.
sweet.
Since she seems unimpressed before my dance, I will talk about myself a little. I will tell about my goal to make a name for myself. I will finish with asking about what is her intention for this mission.
Society or warfare. Yeah, I came here looking for some direction in life. I guess I'm trying to find my path. And she half-jokingly says, well, "What are you in for?"
So, like I said, I want to make a name for myself. I want to be a better duelist. I want to deserve the name Aldori.
I guess that's all well and good. And she seems to be getting disinterested, and you lose 1 influence with Valerie.
No, what type of arts she do? Like, does she make portraits, landscapes, or maybe something else?
Make a performance check. Well, I'm mostly a collector of stories. I write them down. I tell them again. I try to glorify things that the good people do. And she flips through her book and she shows you pretty much a lot of pages of text. Some sketches here and there. I dabble in landscape and portraits, but pretty much only enough to embellish the story. And she kind of rambles on. That was a failure.
A quick question,
Yes.
just so I may gain something out of the last 3 hours. If I know I'm talking really bad and I'm making a fool of myself, can I assume I can use the hero points in a natural 1 roll?
Yes, like I said, and I actually changed it to work kind of like advantage in D&D. So you can use the hero point to reroll any D20 roll and keep the highest, even after the roll.
Okay, can I then use that as well?
Yes.
So I will roll again the last warfare.
Go. And in a minute, rewinding, recutting, back to Valerie. Well, I mostly hope to be of some use to whoever actually makes a kingdom in the Stolen Lands. I'm not really the kingdom-making type. I don't really need to be in the center of attention. I mean, if you want to be an Eldori Swordlord, I don't actually know how it works, but I can see that you are well-versed in the art. So if you need another sword or shield at your side, you can probably count on me. Just want to do right by the people. As far as I know, there are actually a lot of people in the Stolen Lands. I guess nobody thinks about it too much, that there are a lot of villages and little settlements and, by the way, cottages. And these people need protection as much as anyone else in the more civilized lands. And that was enough to gain influence instead of losing it.
A noble
And-
goal indeed.
If you want to say something, keep going. Yeah, so Lindsay's a bit shy. She's showing you her landscape, which is okay, and her portrait, which is okay plus. I'm not really good at these. I'm trying to get better, but I'm mostly storytelling type. If I get to go to the Stolen Lands, I'm hoping to be there to bring everyone up and tell a great story when it's all done. And I will show you the role you did.
Woo!
And-
What is that? What is that?
and-
The 5th in a row?
I think I'll top it all
Oh
off
my
with art praising of art to like to cheer her up.
You maxed out Lindsay's influence.
What's the max?
Her influence is maxed out. The whole campaign.
Fish.
Okay. I want to do something extremely risky. And I mean, like, if this is the point where we could press F5 and quick save, this is where I would want to do it.
If what you do will wreck the entire game, then we will go back.
Okay.
Other than that, we roll with the punches.
Yeah, no, it's. I don't think it would be that bad. But the thing that Kelvin saw about Jay thought about her not
Yep.
eating her food, just kind of pretending, putting it to the side. Was that something that anyone else in the party would notice?
No, you walked away. He was right beside her. Everyone else has at least one person between them and Jathal, and I basically told it to him because he crit perception.
Gonna walk over to her and what would I say? I'd probably have to say something.
You better.
Maybe something along the lines of, see you carry your faith like you do your blade. Quietly but always present. I respect that.
She doesn't carry it exactly quietly. When you come when you come over, it's laying on the bench beside her. The blade, which looks brilliant, despite the fact that you consider something like this a farming tool. It looks shiny, well kept, sharp as hell, and it's laying down carefully on the bench beside her. You actually have to be careful when you move over there to not touch it.
I don't know how to go about this. Would it be meta if I notice that there's still lots of food on her plate?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
When you come over, she notices you just a bit before you sit down, and you see her palming something and hiding it. But that's all you notice.
Interesting. Your scythe, could I take a look at it, please? I am very curious about it.
She seems defensive at first. When you mention her scythe, her hand goes to it and holds it, pulling it slightly closer to her. She seems like she took it as a challenge. You can see her kind of struggling with herself, trying to block her instinct of what to say, and trying to think about what's appropriate to say or to do or how to act. And you can see she's struggling with it, and she says, "Sure, you can look at it. It's a very personal item." And she's still holding it, enough for you to see, but it looks like she doesn't want you to touch it.
Okay. I imagine she's kind of holding it like this with both her hands. And
She's holding it close to where the blade intersects with the hilt, pretty much where you see in the image. She's holding it with her left hand, and she's holding it slightly up so you can see better, but she's holding it close.
can I kind of lean in, try and touch it? Not specifically it, but kind of accidentally touch her hand and try and cast this. It's my focus spell from my god.
Ooh.
Just to see if she reacts to void damage is what I'm very interested in. If there's any negative reaction. I don't want to touch the blade or just destroy it or anything. I specifically just her hand. Just a tiny
So
bit.
you're casting it on
Still
her,
want
not
to
the
hurt
item.
her.
Her hand, yes. My spider senses are telling me that she might be undead. I have a whole thing about undead in my backstory, but that damage.
I
Some
am
people
I'm not
just-
going to ask you for an attack because she's not really having her guard up at the moment. But I want to see Nephis explain void damage.
Well, I think it's just like a damage type, just like fire or lightning. Or...
Yeah, it says here, player core, effects with this trait, heal undead creatures with void energy, deal void damage to living creatures, or manipulate void energy. This specifically has the trait void. Yeah, so it's exactly what you said. Yeah, just wanted to make sure. How would you say it feels when fish disintegrates or hurts someone versus how it feels when they heal someone?
For the receiving end, if you get hit by this, you'd probably see that my hand kind of turns very black and gruish, kind of like the infection that he has on his face.
Mm-hmm.
It starts decaying their hand, if it was touching their hand, or any kind of flesh that it would touch. I would expect to kind of see the same kind of decay and stuff that I have
And
on me.
how does it feel when fish heals?
It probably feels very warm. Yep.
I mean,
Gentle,
I
gentle
like
energies.
if you don't read the Goblins webcomic, I highly recommend it. They introduced to me
Okay.
something that I adopted that is called the individual magic effect. So when you because systems have specific spells they have that anyone can take, kind of, the spells themselves change depending on the caster, where they're coming from, the education, the background, the class. It all affects how the spells look, feel, smell, sound, stuff like that. That's why I'm asking.
I would make a comparison to like fingerprints, how, everybody's got fingers, but everybody's fingerprints are identical or not identical, unique to them.
Yeah, but for example, if Luther is casting divine spells from a nature goddess, I would expect it to look like god rays or sound like chirps or something like that. That's what I mean. You gently touch her hand, and she seems to slink away immediately from the touch, but you don't see any damage. She smiles a bit and looks at you and say, "That was a bit warm. What was that?"
I'm just gonna walk away silently, back to my own seat. I do have this prepared as one of my cantrips,
Yes.
and I want to send her a message, and just say, "I too am touched by death. It's fine." As I lean over and show the very I guess fucked up part of my face. Though at the same time, I would have very cold eyes as I look at her. Canonically, this character really hates undead, but he can put on a show.
Roll deception.
Good luck.
Yeah. You see how it went with Mr. Wizard over here. 3 times in a row.
You maybe try which advantage.
Well, he wouldn't
if you
cause
really
a
care
scene
about
or anything at like a literal banquet, but he would probably keep it.
Would you like to re-roll it if it's a fail?
Yes, 100%.
Then do it.
No way you're failing so much.
It's the same result.
The exact same, no way.
Yeah.
What the?
Yeah, it looks blue. I guess blue means it's the same result. Anyway,
I'm
when
not sure, maybe.
when you touch her, she smiles for a bit. Then you send her the message, and you can see that her face turns from shock to fear to some calm, to wariness, to thinking that maybe she can trust you, and then it all falls apart.
Okay.
Oh man.
And I think that with Kelden sitting right beside her, you can feel the air quake a bit, like something major just happened.
Okay.
I'm back.
For me, I'm just going to continue. Basically, I'm going to be like, so what is the most dangerous thing that you faced in the Stolen Lands with your tribe? I've always very much admired the Mammoths for their approach to things. A little different than my own, but definitely much admiration.
In this part of the story, it's kind of like a reference, but there wasn't any. The only thing that preceded this story is a weird fanfic about the characters. I'm talking about the test adventure we ran. So those people get the reference when she says, "Oh, the most dangerous thing I found. Have you ever seen a Cyclops?" And that's where we fade out. And I want you for this. Actually, yeah, you either roll athletics, intimidation, or survival.
Athletics, intimidation, or survival?
Yeah, the DCs are different.
What do I think would be what's, I guess, an easier difficulty with her more than likely? I don't have intimidation, so it wouldn't be. So I could do athletics or survival. Do I have a kind of a gauge of what I think might be more effective with her? I'm guessing athletics, but I don't know for sure.
That will be a discovery check that will take time.
I'm gonna try the athletics then.
Okay. So she starts talking about Cyclops and giants and stuff like that, while you talk about the things you hunted. What is the biggest thing you hunted? you would say?
Trying to think what it might be. I mean, I'm sure he's faced. We'll say maybe an ogre.
Then you start comparing notes, comparing scars, and you gain 1 influence with Amiri.
Sweet.
And this is the end of the influencing. It's been a few hours since the feast began, and you can hear little bells ringing, announcing its conclusion. The servants bustling about are already cleaning up, taking away plates, offering drinks, alcoholic, non-alcoholic, caffeinated, whatever people want. Lady Amandi rises again and starts addressing everyone, one final time. My friends, Lady Amandi begins, I hope you have enjoyed the food and drink this evening. The words are quickly met with a round of cheers and enthusiastic tapping of several dozen mugs and gobs. It takes a few moments for the room to grow quiet again. Smiling broadly, she continues, You honor me, truly, but this night is for you. As heroes, you have responded to my call, and I can't wait to hear tales of your exploits in the weeks and months to come. Tomorrow, I shall speak with you all about your individual charters. I suspect it will be a busy day, so I suggest we make an early evening of it. After all, you have kingdoms to plan. By the way, I need to move the timer 2 hours forward.
8 o'clock at night.
Lady Amandi's words are met with an even louder round of cheers and drinkware tappings. A few goblets even shatter thanks to the overeager hands. Lady Amandi gestures to the large double doors to the east and west. Of course, I've arranged bedchambers for all of you. My guards will escort you to them now. I hope you find them restful. We shall speak further tomorrow when we meet back here at sunrise. The lady and the mayor, they both leave, and a small retinue of guards follow them. Mager Vaughn steps outside. He explains something about that he still has things he needs to do, and he has room and board in another place in town. He walks out, and you can see him getting into a carriage and driving away. The weird-looking group at the table to the northwest, who all seem to be dressed the same, and who have been keeping to themselves, also leave through the front door and walk into the night, even though it's still raining, and you can hear the thunder getting closer. Thank you. So you are escorted to the east wing, where you are shown to your room, and because they are still assuming that you're all coming as a group, then they show you all to one room. First of all, each of you mark 80 XP. I want you to try something with me. Move your characters to the east wing door, open it, and walk through. And Rocco has found the toilet.
So, Rocco has successfully found a toilet.
Holy shit, flashbang! Oh, what is this? Okay. Cool.
Yes, so the teleporter works. Awesome.
Okay, that's
No,
really
it's
cool.
the same
Oh
map,
my god,
or is
flashbang!
it's a different map, or it's the same map but a different location?
It's a different map. I just want to quickly go over the rooms that you are going through, because this seems to be a kitchen place. You can see plates with food, actually some servants around cleaning things up. To the north, you can see what looks to be the pantry. And they look at Rocco in a weird way because he's walking into the pantry. What you see, what Kelvin sees is some wash tubs and folding screens and chamber pots. This is the bathroom washing. In the hallway, there are several doors and a big carpet. Everything is pretty much immaculately clean. No, this does not mean a gelatinous cube. Because I know some people.
Oh man, there's a lot of doors in this place.
Yeah.
Did they say which where our room was?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Actually, I can't put them in. Let's grab from the Kingmaker characters, not characters, this guy, who's escorting you to the east wing, which is pretty much all the way east.
Okay.
But he doesn't mind you walking around and looking over things, except when you try the doors that are locked.
It's locked. And this seems like a garden.
The garden of sorts.
Yeah, there seems to be a garden with a flowing river going through it. Just keeps on flowing from north to south, and it's currently actually dark in here. I guess the ceiling above you has the shape of a ceiling, but it looks like a starry night. The stars are actually shimmering, and you can see some clouds moving, even though you're pretty sure you're looking at the ceiling.
Probably a magical effect, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and there's lots of plants here and
Yes.
some nice bridges. There is a statue that seems to be standing about knee deep in the water. It's a marble statue with an armored half-elf woman holding a rose and wielding a shield. Anyone want to make a religion check? Yeah, I think you all recognize that this is Milani. She is a kind of a nature goddess, and specifically hope and for the people who can't defend themselves. Kelden will easily recognize she's a nature goddess for the common folk that resists oppression, that overcomes despair, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And if it's here, you can pretty much assume that's what Yamandi Aldori likes. That's the lady's lady.
Yeah.
So the guard shows you all the way to the end and unlocks this door for you.
A lot of rooms there. Are these all for people
This is
answering
for-
the call?
This is a quarter room.
Yeah, you can see even here that while this guard is showing you your room, there are other guards showing some other adventurers going into the other room. This is where most of them go.
Whoa, window.
Each
I call dibs on this bed right here.
each
Yeah,
group
I'll
of
take-
3 to 5 taking their own room.
Yeah, I'll take the closest one to the door, just in case we get invaded.
Yeah, the guard just says, "Good night, fellas. Guess we'll see some adventure tomorrow." He closes the door, and you can hear him like, and he only walks a little bit, and seems to be standing guard outside.
I want to get up and approach Kelden, and I want to. This J. Thal person, there's something wrong with her. I think.
Oh yeah, I noticed she didn't eat anything.
Oh, she didn't. How come? Do you know why?
I mean, something seems off with her. I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
You see, I had my suspicions about her when we first arrived. I went over to her and I touched her.
Oh, you did.
And I
Oh, yeah,
did
I saw that.
something that only someone that's not living, let's say, should be able.
Like on life?
We can call it that, yeah. I think she might be of that sort. We should keep an eye on her.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I kind of got definitely there was some something odd about her.
Call me paranoid, but it's you see the thing on my face, my moneymaker. They're kind that did this, so I hope you don't find me too paranoid. It's
No,
It can be understandable. Don't call me delusional, but there's always something wrong with pale people.
well, I think she's a bit more than pale. I think if we have the opportunity, we should get rid of her.
I wouldn't call for that
Yeah.
Unless she would provoke something else herself.
we'll let's see how things develop.
Should keep an eye on her at least. That's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, it's been a fine night dining with you fellas.
Yeah, the food's kicking, and I'm ready to call it.
I had the most pleasurable night for almost a decade. Thank you all.
Yeah,
Yeah, you-
apparently you are good with the woman.
It seems my natural charm is way above the average.
You definitely
Right, my corner.
connected with her.
I salute you.
My thanks.
Well, it's nice that someone is having success with the ladies, because I didn't go so well with on my end.
I seem to kind of connect a little bit with Amiri. She's
Okay, cool.
yeah, she's a savage one, that's for sure.
I mean, it's always better to have friends than enemies. Sorry to put this bluntly, but we should kill her if we get the chance.
Uh,
I think it's
I would
in our own best interest to not have.
Give
I
her
would
give her the
resort
true
to
death.
that. Would only
Yeah.
resort to that if she would try to kill me first.
The others seem very friendly, though. We should keep in contact with them. All right, good night, fellas. Fish does. As he
Have a good night as
jumps
well.
into bed.
Yep. Good night. We would yeah, just well, I'm assuming I know Luther would have to get out of that armor. Couldn't sleep in that
He sleeps with
comfortably.
the mask.
Yeah. So yeah, that is the part where the reveal is inevitable. So when he takes off the mask, you see like a pretty bulky face, like the determined look. The hair is like almost golden, and the eyes are well the most average colored eyes, like maybe brown.
If you
Hey,
would like
Mr.
to provide an image of Luther without his armor on, so we'll have that. Doesn't have to be on the character itself, but it would be nice.
Yeah, I'll try to make that in here Forge real quick because I haven't actually thought it out thoroughly.
Everyone here are models that try to hide their beauties.
So you all settle into your beds. We can see the last image is Fish closing off the oil lamp that lights the room. And then the camera moves through the wall, and we can see Amiri lying on her bed, the giant greatsword leaning on the wall beside her. She hasn't taken off anything. She's just lying there with her boots on the bed, her hands behind her head, just staring at the ceiling. You can hear Lindsay's voice as she's just rattling on and writing things down and just blathering on about how Luther could be the one that she was looking for, that he could be the voice of reason, the light of the new kingdom, and Amiri is just shaking her head, like every once in a while sliding in a word. Well, I think Keldon was pretty cool. I mean, did you see the especially that little bear? So cute. And Valerie is just sitting there slowly, very slowly, taking off her armor, putting everything.
Ceremoniously.
No, not ceremoniously, like in a military way. Like she's expecting to be checked on it.
Ah.
The camera moves through the wall again, and we see the room is dark. There are just two, obviously, eyes, dark teal, just kind of shining in the middle of a completely dark room. And then there's some flash of light, as you can see Japhil in a split second of light, suddenly her size, and she's like, and every once in a while, and a flash of light in the background.
Jesus Christ, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we might actually have the Grim Reaper incarnate here on our hands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes a bit more reasons to dispose of her.
Well, I mean,
And-
just out of character for a moment, Fish, he is not like the diehard kill all undead, but it's there is room for character development and growth. Maybe not all undead are bad, but at the moment he's very prejudiced against them.
Who would you say among you is the lightest sleeper? I think it will be Keldon.
Yeah, absolutely. He's
Probably.
he stays in the forest more often than not. He definitely is a light sleeper.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that question, about asking it, and light sleeping has nothing to do with perception. I have very high perception, and I sleep like a brick. So
He also
I
has
would
an
I would
animal
also
that can
volunteer
alert him
for,
to stuff
light
too.
sleeping.
yeah, so you go to sleep, and you don't feel like you sleep a lot when suddenly and you hear a muffled scream from outside. You just tilt upright. You can see Bayfir is already up and like pointing at the door, The only reason he's not just charging is because he's waiting for you. And you can see the others are also kind of steering from it, but it woke you up. And that's where we end.
Oh, Luther, is that you? Shut up. Be quiet, I'm
No.
trying to sleep.
And that
you.
was part 1, the feast.
Woohoo!
We'll see you next
Yeah, there
time.
you go.
See you next time for part 2. Hang on a second. Part 2, Blood and Blades. Until then,
Nice.
stay good. Have fun.
Yeah, there we go.